Fiscal policy involves the government using its spending and taxation to influence a country's economy. It's a tool used to manage economic activity, promote growth, and address issues like poverty and inflation. Governments adjust their budget by changing spending or taxes, aiming to achieve desired economic outcomes.
For example, when payments rise or there are job shortages, the government has tools it can use to help. It is possible to lower taxes to leave us with more cash, or boost construction, so there are more jobs available. For this reason, fiscal policy is a method of control to maintain stable and growing economic growth in the country.
There are two types of fiscal policy. For the first one is expansionary fiscal policy. It involves all the actions taken by the government to invest more money back into the economy. Putting more money back into the economy creates more demand for services and products. The government either spends more, cuts down the taxes, or does both of them. The government increases its spending on projects like building roads, hospitals, and schools. This creates more jobs for people and helps businesses grow. Contractionary fiscal policy is the second type of fiscal policy, and it is normally used at the time of a boom in the economy. Contractionary fiscal policy is used to slow economic growth, such as when inflation is growing too rapidly. The opposite of expansionary fiscal policy, contractionary fiscal policy raises taxes to cut spending. As consumers pay more taxes, they have less money to spend, and economic stimulation grows slow. Why does the government use fiscal policy? The first key objective is to reduce unemployment during economic downturns. When the government increases spending on infrastructure projects or cuts taxes, it puts more money in people's pockets and creates jobs, helping more citizens find work. The second important goal is controlling inflation when prices rise too quickly. By decreasing government spending or raising taxes, authorities can reduce the amount of money circulating in the economy, which helps slow down price increases and maintains purchasing power. Additionally, governments use fiscal policy to stabilize the overall economy. During recessions, stimulus measures can prevent severe crash, while during boom periods, policy adjustments can prevent dangerous economic bubbles.
Malaysia, a nation of rich cultural diversity and rapid economic growth. Behind the scenes of bustling cities and tranquil villages lies a careful balancing act performed by the government. Fiscal policy. A clear example of fiscal policy in action is the Malaysian government's stimulus packages during the COVID-19 pandemic. In March 2020, the Prihatin Economic Stimulus Package worth 260 billion ringgit was announced. It aimed to protect citizens, support business, and strengthen the economy.
Next into our MCO, Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin announced the Prihatin Rakyat Economic Stimulus Package, valued at 260 billion ringgit, which in proportion to GDP is amongst the largest in the world, as it amounts to 17% of our GDP. They include initiatives like one-off cash handouts, special allowances for frontliners, deferment of loans and income tax payments, discounts on utility bills, and wage subsidies. This is not the first time Malaysia has implemented a stimulus package.
Not in generations has Wall Street absorbed the number of body blows it took today.
The American financial system is rocked to its foundation as top Wall Street institutions topple under a mountain of debt.
The last major stimulus package that we had would be during the global financial crisis in 2008 and 2009, where I think the government pumped in a total of about 60 billion in terms of the package, and that works out to about 9% of the GDP at that time.
Research has shown that these measures played a vital role in cushioning Malaysia's economy during the 2008 global financial crisis.
Advantages and disadvantages of fiscal policy. Advantages of fiscal policy. 1. Boost economic growth and strengthens fiscal health. A well-managed fiscal policy helps stimulate economic growth by increasing government spending or adjusting taxes. When done correctly, it also improves the country's financial stability by reducing deficits and encouraging investment. In 2024, Malaysia recorded a GDP growth of 5.1% and reduced its fiscal deficit to 4.1%, showing improved financial management. 2. Shift to more efficient, targeted subsidies.
Savings from fuel subsidy rationalization should be used to strengthen federal aid initiatives such as Sumbangan Tunai Rahmah and Sumbangan Asas Rahmah. Economist Golim Tai and the Federation of Malaysian Consumers Associations said such reforms are essential given that blanket subsidies tend to benefit high-income households disproportionately. Go pointed to data shared by Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim showing that foreign nationals and the richest 50% of Malaysian consumers enjoyed as much as 40% or 8 billion ringgit of the RON95 petrol subsidy last year. Go said reforming the subsidy system could help preserve public funds for key aid initiatives, including child nutrition, elderly care, and targeted cash assistance such as STR and SARA.
Instead of giving subsidies to everyone which can waste resources, targeted subsidies focus on helping low-income groups. This makes government spending more effective and ensures aid reaches those who truly need it. For example, the government shifted from blanket fuel subsidies to targeted assistance, saving billions and helping the B40 income group more directly. 3. Increase government revenue through tax reforms. By introducing new taxes or increasing ones, the government can diversify its income sources. This reduces dependence on limited resources and helps fund development and public services. Malaysia increased sales and services tax SST from 6% to 8% and introduced taxes on sugary drinks and capital gains to boost revenue. 4. Promotes social equity. Fiscal policy can reduce inequality by supporting vulnerable groups. This includes raising minimum wages and providing direct cash aid to farmers, students, or small business owners, ensuring that economic benefits are shared fairly. Next is disadvantages of fiscal policy. 1. Causes short-term inflation. Removing subsidies or raising taxes can cause prices to rise, especially for essentials like fuel or food. This leads to inflation, which reduces people's purchasing power and raises the cost of living. In Malaysia, after fuel subsidy cuts, diesel prices rose 56%, contributing to projected inflation of 2% to 3.5% in 2024. 2. Triggers public dissatisfaction. While fiscal reforms may benefit the economy long-term, they can cause frustration among the public in the short term. Increased living costs and tax hikes often lead to complaints, protests, or political backlash. For example, subsidy cuts and new taxes spark dissatisfaction among working-class citizens, facing higher daily expenses. 3. Rising government debt. Despite efforts to control spending, many countries still rely on borrowing. High public debt leads to higher interest payments, reducing money available for development or welfare. For example, Malaysia government debt is projected to rise to 64% in 2024, with debt service charges taking up nearly 16% of total revenue.
So, fiscal policy is a main method that governments apply to shape the country's economy using their own resources and taxes. It helps expand the economy, control inflation, cut down on unemployment and supports financial stability during financial chaos. People use two main types of fiscal policy: expansionary when they need to stimulate the economy and contractionary to reduce inflation. One of the main advantages of fiscal policy is how rapidly it can help the economy when an emergency like the COVID-19 pandemic occurs. In practice, a number of governments issued stimulus packages and gave subsidies to support citizens and companies. But, if fiscal policy is not well managed, it might lead to higher government debt and waste of money. We believe that fiscal policy strongly contributes to a country's financial security and ongoing economic growth. Because of it, the government can act to safeguard the economy when things get uncertain and support continuous growth. Still, it is important to be open and manage the budget wisely so people get the advantages of new fiscal policies without leaving excessive debt for those to come. Consequently, using fiscal policy wisely and responsibly is very important.